This is Phoenix, and I have to go over third or fourth time because my USB doesn't want to actually proc for some reason until pretty much I decided to get a standard happening. Who's pissed right now? But sadly, okay. I'm mostly visiting my dad last week, so I haven't done anything much. The most I do some matches daily that I gotta do. Get readjusted towards the time zone I'm in. And also who's also possibly getting a Switch soon. That's not a light. Once my sister gets her new one. Let's see. Over the past week, most of my decks mostly been the same. I know plans to upgrade them anytime soon. My Slim deck's mostly still the same as usual, which nothing else changed from the time Richie actually saw it. Also, my Blue Eyes deck's mostly still the same but branded. Maxie's is still pulling off work, especially out the ashes where I need to, so I don't have to deal with them. So far, pretty much, I had a couple of matches where I think I could have had something to work with, though, but I am thinking at least the catches are putting off work. My first deck, when I come back, also spit audio working. Hmm? I had to undo it twice. Wow. First deck was just essentially a war deck, which was back and forth enough that at least I got some experience in. So far, the deck essentially is the same. I meant to do that before. I ran some tools like Foolish Burials, which I didn't make sense at first when I first saw it. Essentially, just utilize some cards effects back from the grave. Also, utilizing cards that actually make Legendary Ocean better. While using some traps that mostly activate when in the grave. Also, evenly match was shocking to me. In other words, this was mostly just a pure war deck, which doesn't have much going for it. But the main card being useful is the Ocean Dragon Lord, Kiri. Overall, most of this week has mostly been tiring. So tired, but not too early. Got roughly about probably around 6 of 12 hours sleeps I need. Most of the time was so bad in my opening. My point immediately is, since I went first, I said worst thing happens Ash. Gonna train. What the first two decided to activate some alternative, then discard mostly draw more. I figured to rank Imperm. Activating our training to essentially get second blue eyes mostly had parts in my hand. To get branded, which is pretty much the most OP card I actually pulled first thing. Besides that, Dasher in there as well. I decided to get a lemon. Essentially go into Phoenix the Forcer. Overall, strong falling, especially since I most of summoning I had jets while having 2 jets. Essentially, Regeki happened. I said I summoned my second jet. I accidentally did that by accident, but I figured would have been the best choice either way. Essentially, get rid of those two. Since I figured I didn't need Phoenix the Forcer. Otherwise, pretty much, I would have just destroyed everything else. Phoenix the Forcer I didn't need. Apparently, evenly matched was the key card. Most of my field would have been vanished either way, so at least I lowered it by doing that. They also had a Kaiju, which I wasn't expecting. Get back Jet in my hand, at least. Go for might get down what I can do. As I go to prayer plant. Birthday. I did prayer plant mostly so I can go and send. Let's go into Mirror Jade. Since there wasn't much I could go into. Personally, this matchup with definitely matched would have been more useful. If I had gone Mirror, but it would have more mattered. So now grave mostly so I can banish Ocean Dragon Lord. Maxi is essentially just a dead card match, I realized afterwards. That brings on my jet. Get my last brand in there. Add Blue Eyes back to hand. Set one. Get that card back in the deck of theirs. Sadly, I didn't have more branded targets to mostly work with. I mostly did it so I can deck filter. I decided to make the card go back. Essentially, what happening is bring out second jet. I'm still curious what the last reaction was when. Personally, the only out they could have had would have been just using Sea Stealth 2. But I don't think it would have mattered. Second match was against Eldritch, which I'm proud of what I did. Typical Eldritch engine. I'm just glad I finally beat Eldritch of all things. It's hard for me to actually beat them unless for much they'll have Eldritch on the field yet. Most of my hand was doable, I was thinking. But as soon as I saw Eldritch, I was like, I can't play around this. I said he'll fall on beds here. Discard that, mostly. So use Ash so they don't have a second one going off. Go into Branded. Use Lions and stuff mostly so I can actually get a second copy into Mirror Trade. I said last one I have so I can get rid of it. Trust on Spirit mostly so I can get rid of that set card. Since Eldritch is all about control, and this thing would have been the most. Since it would have actually made the whole game proper, I would have gone into anything else. But first matchup against Eldritch, I needed Spirit immediately, especially some in the back, in a way. Got Branded again, special summon Branded. Go into LB. I couldn't special summon out. I'm playing all the trap monsters in need. I was hoping to go into something else if I actually could at least. Since I thought it was all targets, and I couldn't. I didn't imprint this whole game. My only out would have been Harvey's Father, essentially. Just on Blue Eyes. Essentially, what it ended up doing there was the most ridiculous thing I saw. Since timing-wise, my spirit would have still my field, so I was still able to add points. But the fact is, the second option was the only way out because of what I top decked. So I shot a jet. This is the most ridiculous top deck. I felt like a Yu-Gi-Oh! Protect there. Nuking all the fields. The fact is, I didn't have a jet, and the fact that I top decked a jet while having Blue Eyes in my field now at that point was ridiculous. The next match was pretty much something I was actually shocked what I managed to do. 2 turn in a while. I haven't had that happen in a while against Galaxy Eyes, all things. While running a minor Cyber Dragon Nova Infinity Core. Just to go into level 5s, but personally, it also could work with them. Mostly just probably more focused on this stuff with some actual links. Most of this is matches. Approximately at least. This is match number 3. I could have had more at least, but I don't think I have time today, mostly. Since I got a bunch of stuff to do. Activate Ladybug, mostly add Summon to hand. Go to link there, go into Balix. That's it. Go to it. Go to another Balix. Toss some minutes out. Send out Giselle. Go into link 2. Go into that. Mostly send my other copy back in the deck. Add my Gazelle back to my hand. Go into link 3. Go into Transcode. Then pretty much go into like Flesh. Send 2. The sad thing is, I actually need to play 2 dailies, so most of this would have been useful. Activate. Send my Sunlight back in deck mostly, so they have to. So they can do combo wise. And that card will essentially be destroyed as a result. Chain wise. Send the Sunlight. I was going to reset my link. Since they can't utilize another link outside of Galaxy Soldier. And this was essentially against Dark Magicians. Sadly, a newer player. Because of the extra deck alone. If that doesn't tell you that's newer or not. Especially when they're only running 1 Magician Soul. And some Dark Illusions. And then Magician Chaos. And some Ghost Ogres. I don't know what it is. It's either that or Pseudo Budget. Opening hand wise, I thought my hand was good. Decided to do that. I decided max these. Mostly drew into second circle, which I figure is pointless. But I had it out at least. Gonzalo mostly so I can go into Balix. Balix add, next time you draw 2. Go to another Balix so I can activate Gazelle in my deck. Right. Send out Spinny mostly so I can go into Link 2. Put Splash Mage first. Just Gazelle again. Then I'll take the Jammer. I had all the outs I need, especially Called Blood Grave. So I figure I could go for game. Essentially what I should have just done was get rid of the Charcel, but I figured it's going to be a game either way. Call by the Grave. They really used up that Charcel skill so I can go for game. It was probably my most perfect hand I actually needed in a long time for a matchup. Next up, Roldy's deck. Which essentially was a Zoe deck, mostly utilizing searching, but also utilizes Slifer and the Legend Incarnate. Besides some Guardian Slime stuff, like Upstart Goblin, Double Summon, Wonderlawn essentially utilizes it to its Witch deck Black Forest, Rangest, and accidentally typical stuff like Droplet, the Field Spell, utilize Slow Crossing, Drowning Mirror Force, Heavy Stormfester, which is probably one of the better trap cards a little bit, for a removal at least, for back row. But, takes too long. Trap Tricks, which I'm not surprised about. Ice Dragon Prison. Mullen Reflect Line, but personally you need a 3. Next only Blow Rate. If they're running like one Guardian Slime, this should be rank 3, personally. Next only the one out card, which only can be utilized by Summer Milk and Rich Black Forest. The expired mostly the rest is most of the typical stuff I pictured, at least for a deck like this. And accidentally going for Skull Dread mostly so they can actually just refilter the hand to go into Exodia. Personally, Alphonse Bow the Guards is probably a much better card. Well, using typical stuff. Overall, my hand was decent, but I figured it wasn't the most perfect hand. You also utilized go into Spinny, go to Gazelle, go to Belix, Alright, Slim, go into Slims, go Spinny into that, go into Zell. I said I go into Sunlight Wolf, Spinny skill, special myself, add it back my Gazelle. Go into another one, Sunlight Wolf, so I can actually go into that and actually go back my trap. Go into Transcode, go into that. Go into Sunlight Wolf. Send Call by the Grave. Had my turn. Double Summon. Reactor Slime, I figured that wasn't worth at least escaping. Since I knew I was playing against Exodia, I mean against it early on, I figured it's probably the best move. I said I called by Grave so they can't activate another Guardian Slime if that's my backwards going to be moved. I said I might as well make use Grizzle of it. Go into Sunlight Wolf again. Go into Ritual. Essentially, my end goal there was going to be Transco for game. Everything I need. The fact is, I had everything else to go in second game. This is one of the decks where green. You need. Actually, this deck would have been more useful with, you know, the whole green thing because of how much hand traps it utilizes and a lot of stuff go in the grave. Effects, which will proc a lot. Exchange is a really interesting card type. I can't forget there is a Dragon's on me. Like everything else is mostly stuff absurd. Slash Straw is the one thing I'm surprised about. Chaos Zone, Chicken Game, Soul Absorption, Scapegoats, Inferno Tempest. Inferno Tempest would have been the most interesting out ever. But essentially, most of it's just stuff I figure is going to happen. Mostly it's just generic stuff at this point. overall, once I saw what I'm facing, I figured might as well. Also, most of this stuff I'm just doing dailies, so no climbing. Also, I got to go for a walk soon. While waiting for this upload. Opening hand wise, this was my best hand. Foxy's was best thing I can do, so I can at least figure out what to do. I said I had 4, so mostly I have something to work with about removal. Essentially, send Foxy guys. Send back Foxy mostly so I can special them out for another Link 2, but I should have waited personally so I can get Zell back in my hand. I was just tired of this play, I think. Doing a Link 3 in the Trisco Talker. Doing the Sunlight Wolf. I should have held off of playing my Sentry since I didn't have a secondary card. I know what the heck my opponent was doing at this point. Or what the endgame was. I still don't know what the heck I'm dealing with. Card destruction, I essentially want my out either way. The cards to go into Link Rebo. Card Hobby Spyluster. Most of the back row apparently wasn't worth it. Start Cards Demise most likely. Go into Demise, had Vampire War. Go into Spinny's effect. Go into Ash. Go into Meiji. And essentially, I was going to get all my cards back while at the same time going for my update jammer. So that was our wrap. Next one was just an Exodia copy. Utilizing some other stuff mostly to special summon while going for Exodia Incarnate with some backup plans. More focused around decks. Personally, it's stuff like Backup Soldier I feel so odd seeing nowadays. Man, I'm just tired, so still. I need to get done with the rest of my dailies and stuff. So I'm mostly just rushing as much as possible. So I can work on my actual tomorrow. Essentially, my hand was just Brick City time, so I decided to go for True Light. I did True Light mostly so I can send downs to deck in. Essentially, I didn't want to use Denial since I would have to search some stuff for it. Like, I figured most of the deck at this point, I decided to do Imperm. Deck in again. Most of this duel, I was just breaking hard while deck thinning. Go into battle with it, it's mostly get the downs to my daily. Special summon out one card. I special summon Blue Eyes, since I actually had most of my stuff I can utilize it for it. Send. I know my opponent's endgame that one was. Imperm essentially again. Especially, I got Albez. They chain it before I can actually activate its effect. The one for some reason, which I don't understand. Overall, those are all the matches I have for today. I'm mostly just going to be doing 3 matches probably tomorrow, probably. Not doing my dailies entirely. If I have some more, I'm probably going to do it probably the next following day. If I have some more material to work with that are back and forth, at least even for losses, I'll post them.